The Washington Wizards, formerly known as the Washington Bullets, have an interesting history in the NBA. From the days of Wes Unseld and Elvin Hayes dominating the court and winning the 78 finals, to introducing the league to Manute Bol and the unforgettable era of Michael Jordan's return to the game, this team has seen its fair share of triumphs and challenges. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Recent years have presented the Wizards with their own set of hurdles. Flashes of brilliance from players like John Wall and Bradley Beal have showcased the team's potential. But with that regime gone, Washington has declared to the league that they are ready for something new. And this is where I step in. As a former collegiate basketball coach, I'm no stranger to analyzing gameplay, making tactical decisions, and nurturing raw talent. Today, I'm merging my passion for both basketball and gaming to take on the role of coach and general manager. My goal, to harness the team's history and pave a new path towards a brighter future for the Washington Wizards. Will my real-world coaching expertise translate seamlessly into the virtual realm? There's only one way to find out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything to come. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to my YouTube channel here, and more specifically, welcome to NBA 2K24. As the title suggests, yes, I'm a former college basketball coach. I coached at a couple different levels for a couple different teams, and I even have worked with some G League teams, some NBA teams, and I've kind of transitioned my career into owning a basketball analytics company, actually. I support Division 1 through Division teams throughout the country. I even support a couple pro teams and some things with consulting, but I've got the bug to coach again, if you will, and that's how we've gotten to NBA 2K24. This is a way for me to get back on the court in a way and maybe see how a college basketball coach or a pro coach, if you will, looks at the virtual game of NBA 2K and how we can take this team, the Washington Wizards, and bring them to a championship. So let's get out of practice mode because we don't need to see these guys practice right now. But this is my first time really being in the game. I don't play 2K that much, but enough to know my way around to this point. And what we're going to be doing in this series is we're going to be taking the Wizards in all facets, right? Like all ways that we can run this team, whether it's constructing the staff, doing the finances, coaching them, scouting, and we're just going to see how I look at the team and how we can, as a community, come together and put together a championship team. And so where I want to start is probably honestly the staff. Like, let's see, and this is how you know this is my first time booting up the game. Yeah. Okay, so governor, a lot of charisma, a lot of influence. That's not what I like to see. I'm the one that does the influencing around here. Assistant GM is a snake. Love that. That's not what I care about as much right now. What I care about is the coaching, and Wes Unseld Jr., who we actually talk about in the intro of this, bit of a Wizards legend in himself, and that's probably why he gets to coach the team, is here. But I want to look around the league a little bit and see. Now, Michael Stoffer's that guy, right? He's that guy. He's always the guy in 2K. He's like the generated coach that just has every badge ever, and that's how they do it. But just looking around, I've got one scout, one doctor. Yeah, staff's looking a little weak right now. You know, the Wizards are in such an interesting spot right now, given that, you know, they just had that whole Bradley Beal trade, and really they didn't get very much for him, right? And so we're looking at this team in a very new way than Wizards fans are used to. The Wizards fans, man, they've got it rough. Like, I've never seen a team be so bad but good enough to like not get like a top pick for so long. That's a rough thing for them to go through. But just looking through the team quick, Jordan Poole's the guy now, and I can already tell you that Jordan Poole is not gonna play point guard for us. I see him as more of an off guard, kind of a la Lou Williams, if you will, but maybe with a little more distributing potential. And so, yeah, we're going to put him at the 2 at the very least. Let's take a look through the rest of the roster, though. Kyle Kuzma just got a huge contract from these guys. Yep, more new 2K stuff. Decreasing salary, that's kind of interesting. And this is kind of what the new NBA looks like, right? It's for a starter, and Kuzma's an above average starter, obviously, but for a starter, you're paying that $20 million a year. And then for a guy like Jordan Poole, you're in the upper 30s. Tyus Jones is a really interesting player for us. We only have him for a year, but that's a guy that he's probably been one of the best backup point guards in the NBA for a minute now. He's really been the king of distributing the basketball, being very efficient with it, keeping the team moving, things like that, right? And so with that, that's probably a guy that we honestly want to keep around for at least the beginning parts. What is your 3-point shot looking like? Like, he shouldn't be bad at it. No. So we get a lot out of him there. I think that's a little rough on his perimeter defense, honestly, but he is only 6'2", 196. There's only so much we can do with the smaller frame like that. Daniel Gafford. For context, I'm a Bulls fan, and we drafted Daniel Gafford and traded him for next to nothing. And I'm a big Daniel Gafford fan. I think he's in that Clint Capella type role of really understanding what his job is on the court. It's get rebounds, play defense, stand in the dunker spot, get alley-oops. And he is 25. He's a little bit older for where he's at developmentally, at least compared to where I'd like. But yeah, you see he's got like the rebound chase or the pogo stick, things like that. Those are interesting things. DeLon Wright, a nice quality backup point guard. Corey Kispert's a little undersized for the position I want him to play, which is the 3, but he might be able to make it work. He is 225, but you see some of the guys playing the 3 nowadays, and they're just like monsters, and especially monsters athletically. And so I worry not having bigger athletes out there, especially when you're already starting guys like Jordan Poole and Tyus Jones, and presumably he's our 3, right? Oh, they got Kuzma as the 3. I don't know why I don't buy into the Kuzma playing the 3 role as much, but I see him more as a stretch 4. I think that's where he's a little more beneficial. I think he gets a little more favorable matchups then, so he can use his ball handling to get past people, but is what it is. And we got Danilo Gallinari, that's right, part of the Porzingis trade. Quality vet to have come off the bench, right? Nice quality vet. He's been around for 13 years now. Wow. Italy could really have used him in the World Cup the other day. But Deni Avdija, I don't know where to take him developmentally, because I feel like literally his ceiling is Danilo Gallinari. So, but we'll see about that. Landry Shamet, quality bench player in the sense that he'll make an open 3. And man, they did him dirty on his 3 as well. Mike Muscala, big off the bench that can shoot. We will take it, honestly. We have what we have. Now here's where it gets interesting. Koulibaly out of France, Victor Wembanyama's teammate. This is where the developmental part needs to come in, right? 6'6", 195, 19-year-old. What are we looking at? The defense is already there. And, if I always said when I was coaching, offense is the easier part to teach. We would always drive in defense in practice all the time. And offense is something that can come individually and just pick up and things like that. So Mr. Koulibaly is going to be the big developmental piece. He's a guy that we need to have succeed. Anthony Gill getting into the reserves a little bit. Johnny Davis, actually, from my hometown, watched him a lot. And obviously has not had a great start to his career. I know at the end of last year, he really picked it up, given not as high quality players on the court at that point of the season, but there's a lot to look at with him still, and that's something we're going to explore. And throughout this year. If we don't see development out of him and stuff like that, right? I mean, this team's not winning anything this year, so why not throw him on the court, see what he can do? The defense isn't bad, but a lot of the scoring, because he's going to have to be a scorer. You can't just be a defender out there. If you are, you have to be a really good defender. Yeah, we'll throw him out there, see what happens. Patrick Baldwin Jr., I think it was part of the Chris Paul trade, right? That got him here from the Warriors. I believe that was part of it. I could be wrong. But another Wisconsin guy, I've seen him play in person a couple times before as well. He was a Milwaukee guy. His dad coached at UW Milwaukee, actually, and I think that's the reason he went there. But another guy, 6'9", 220, can shoot a little bit, but can't do a ton else, and so might end up being a trade chip for us at some point. Jared Butler, been around for a little bit, and Ryan Hollins. Okay, so that's what the team's looking like. I can already tell just by looking at this that I need to go hire some scouts, because we are probably going to be in the lottery. At least that's the goal. And honestly, what picks do we have? Okay, so something we're going to need to do is get a first round pick at some point. But thinking through that, I'm always of the philosophy that we don't try to lose, right? And now we have no incentive to lose. So our incentive is to probably trade for a pick in the early half of this season. What we're going to use to get that, I don't know. Nobody's probably safe on this team except probably Jordan Poole and Coulibaly, but maybe Tyus Jones, but we'll see for the pick what we can make happen. But no incentive to lose here. I've always said the best way to develop a winning culture is to win. But yeah, let's take a look at staff. If we look through scouts here, let's just go to basketball IQ. And so this guy, Gabe Vincent, is one of the top scouts out there, and it looks like we have some budget available, which is nice. So let's see how low we can get him before he's gonna not like us anymore. Okay, so Kate Vincent. Oh, excuse me. Kate is a bloodhound. Very adept at finding sleepers. She looks like she's going to sleep. But alrighty, Kate, welcome. Kate's gonna be the difference maker, I can already tell you. Why are all my staff members snakes? This is why the Wizards don't win anything. Team doctor. No, let's focus on getting another scout in here. Foreign scout, Maurice Cook. All right, I actually read the name correctly this time, so I promise I'm capable of coaching. I just can't read. That's my own problem, though. Art Mayer. Some of these badges: dedicated, connoisseur, tuned into the top prospects. That's probably important. Able to scout additional prospects. That's probably important too. Do we have the budget for you, Art? Yeah, we do. Once we bring Art in, I'd say I'm feeling a lot better about the scouting department, at least. Yeah, you get 180K. I wish I got 180K for coaching. I did not get that much. You can get some pretty lucrative paychecks in the coaching world, but you got to get pretty high up before that happens. All right, team doctor. Mr. Jaden is fine. We'll find a new one at the end of this season. But what I do want to make sure that we're doing is a guy like a strength trainer, right? Like those are important things for the young players. Like in the college world, there's so much that goes into developing the young guys. Like the best thing about a freshman, right, is that they become a sophomore. And so much of that is just bulking, putting on muscle and stuff. And that's what we have with like Coulibaly. He's a guy that's just going to need to put on some weight and develop. And the way to do that is to find a strength trainer, which looks like the best one is Luther Keller. Luther Keller looks like he knows how to build a body. Take that as you will. But we're gonna bring Luther in because we wanna prioritize getting our young guys bulked up, ready to play in the league. And I think the other thing we'll do is, I think we're gonna look into physio, just because we do have injuries on. Injuries are a thing, and that's a part of the game. One injury changes everything for a team. And so we can prevent that, that would be nice. And honestly, what am I doing? Like, he doesn't even have any badges. Ariel does, though. Players work harder in the gym, tire less quickly during games. Well, is there anything that helps me prevent injuries? Sleep doctor helps optimize. Whoa, that is a detailed beard. Okay, 2K. Lower body specialist helps. Well, lower body injuries are what we see all the time in basketball at this point. So let's bring in Mr. Ron Newton. All right, Ron. Alrighty, so we got Ron. I'm not really going to worry about my CFO or assistant GM or anything right now. We've got enough coaches on staff, and if we still have the budget for something else, let's bring in another scout then. Badges. Floyd Duncan. Why does he kind of look like me, though? Oh, no. Well, that's horrible. So, 159, all right. So, led by Kate, primarily. We've got our scouting department put together. Let's go to the front office, finances. All right, we're looking at the team budget now. We put everything into staff, and that shows. I was wondering how we had enough money to sign off those, so that's going to be something to watch. All right, now we're looking at salary cap. So we're barely under, or we're barely over the cap, which is, I assume, pretty, yeah, we have like the best cap situation. Utah is actually under, which is interesting. Yeah, I would have thought with John Collins joining, but yeah, it's Lauri Markkanen's contract that really isn't that crazy. Lauri Markkanen would be a very interesting person to target at some point. But anyway, yeah, just looking around the league, yeah, we're in definitely one of the better financial situations than the rest of the league. Looking at, actually, let's just take a look. Who are we paying? Yeah, we're paying Poole, we're paying Kuzma. Gafford's got a substantial contract. I'd like him to be a little bit better, but honestly, for a guy of Gafford's caliber, that's kind of is what you pay nowadays. I know that number looks crazy, but it's not. Landry Shamet's contract's too much, though. That's too much for getting an 81 three-pointer. Otherwise, no, we're gonna have a lot of cap room going forward, which is nice. Pricing wise, looking at this, we can charge more for the Wizards games. We got a young team, and we got to make some money this year. Oop, they didn't like that. we're not tricking them into getting that much money. Let's do this. Souvenirs. Who buys souvenirs at games anymore? Is that just stuff you sell to kids to make them shut up a little bit, right? Like that's kind of what I think. I'm sure that's why my dad would buy me like a Bulls jacket or something going to a Bulls game going up. Okay. Negative $15 million is our profit. Wonderful. And our chemistry's at 65%, which is interesting. I don't feel like we got a ton of new players on this team, but let's take a look at coaching right now. How many people does Wes like to play? He wants to play 9. And looking at the team, that's probably fair. But let's take a look at, why are we bringing Tyus Jones off the bench? Stop it. Wes, these are the type of things that are going to get you fired. Tyus has got to play minutes for us to win. We have no incentive to lose. And you know what? Kuzma's position, are you set as a power forward? We're switching you to. Okay. Get DeLon Wright out of my starting 5. He's not playing that much. I promise you he's not. We love DeLon on this team. We do. Why? We're not sure yet, but we do. Because he has that A+ perimeter defense. That's why we love him on this team. But no, he is not playing that right now. And honestly, Corey Kispert's getting the start over Denny. I know that's a hot take, but I'd rather have Denny off the bench because he has a little bit of ball handling to him. The thought is that you're looking at the bench, right? And Shamet's not touching the ball, Gallo's not touching the ball. DeLon, we don't really want touching the ball too much. He is our playmaker and everything, and that's great. But having Denny to kind of initiate the game a little bit, I think could be valuable off the bench. Now, as far as this minute spread, Kispert's got to get some more tick, so we're going to take it away from him. And I'm going to cut quick and come back to you guys when I've got these minutes sorted out. All right, so this is the lineup that we kind of ended with. So we got the Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Kispert, Kuzma, Gafford, and I like this 5 because there actually is a decent amount of like floor spacing here. Enough guys can shoot. Poole's getting the majority of the minutes. I mean, as we all know with Jordan Poole this year, this dude's probably going to put up near 30 points a game would be my guess this year. He's one of those guys that is, I know he struggled in the playoffs last year, but he's one of those guys that you give him enough shots, I think you're actually probably going to see his efficiency go up a little bit more when he's not worried about passing to better players, as long as he's got enough good coaching around him. And that's our job to kind of support him in that. And then off the bench, we had said we were only going to do 9, but it needed a way to get Koulibaly on the court, and you got to have a backup center so that we're not running like Kuzma at a small ball 5 at some point. I refuse to do that. So like Muscala's got to get some minutes, and Koulibaly's going to get some minutes here. Gallo's going to have some minutes just to bring some consistency off the bench, right? DeLon Wright and Avdia are kind of our main guys. Unfortunately, where that leaves us is guys like Johnny Davis, where Johnny Davis at least got to be here. But that's where we run into a little bit of a problem, right? It's a guy like him's not getting any minutes, so maybe he's a guy that we send down to the G League at some point. As far as like how we want to play, getting shooters open, like we're not going to beat anybody by playing good defense with this team. Like the only way we're going to beat people is if we outscore them, which doesn't bode well for us because just look at our roster. But that's kind of the point, right? We're trying to get better. It's not an easy task. So getting shooters open, shooting at will, we're going to have to outscore people. Hopefully Jordan Poole can do that. Looking at offensive rebounding, like I'm cool with having like a guy like Gafford crash or something like that, but after that, no, everybody just needs to get back. Limiting perimeter shots, like I said, the only way we're going to win is if we outscore them. So if we can just make more threes, that's a good way to win in basketball, honestly. Yeah, that's what we're looking at as far as the rotational piece goes. System proficiency wise, pace and space, probably just perimeter centric would be where I say we want to go. Wes Unseld doesn't do that well, but Wes Unseld might not be our coach by the end of the season, so we'll see what you do there right now. Now training, this is where it's a little bit interesting. Player mentorship, yeah. Want to develop some of these younger dudes. Yep, I get it. DeLon Wright being a mentor for Jordan Poole. Does Jordan Poole need a mentor? He's our best player. Oh, that's kind of weird, honestly. So we are gonna dismiss him as a mentor, honestly. Guys like Koulibaly, though. And who do we want teaching Koulibaly? Is it a guy like Kuzma? Like, what can you teach him? Pro touch, slithery, scooper. I don't even know what. Precision dunker. Interesting. Yeah, fearless finisher. Kuzma's gonna be the guide to Koulibaly. Hopefully he doesn't teach him how to dress. But Gallinari, no, that's not happening. It's not happening. Not happening. Avdia needs a mentor. Gallinari makes sense for you, right? We were just comparing him. That's his ceiling, right? Catch and shoot, Claymore. Ooh, guard up. Open looks. I don't know what that does, but that sounds like something we want for him. Shamit, DeLon Wright, Corey Kispert. Cops going by. Hopefully you can't hear that too much. It's city life. Johnny Davis. Let's give him Tyus Jones. Midwestern guys, right? Two-step. Teach him how to dance, huh? Yeah, let's go with that. All right, who else? Patrick. I just can't be asked Patrick. I'm sorry, I'm not developing Patrick Baldwin or Ryan Hollins. It's just not happening. Okay, so we have some things set there. Let's take a look then at the individual training. Looking at like load management and stuff, like a guy like him, it's a medium. A lot of these guys, if they're younger, it's going to be low load management. Yours is probably going to have to be high because you're going to have to play a lot of minutes. You're older, it's high. A little bit older, it's still high. Anthony, I just don't really care. Playing a lot of minutes, right? Playing a lot of minutes, so want them fresh. And they're not really developing as much anymore. Jordan Poole's the one we're hoping maybe does. But Otherwise, we don't expect too much out of that. We're still gonna put him on high. Actually, no, you're low. Maybe you'll turn into something. I doubt it, but going high here. And then just looking at a couple guys, right? Like Jordan Poole, as far as like offensives, definitely the way. I think it was already set to that. But guys like Corey Kispert, like, yeah, outside shooting's where we want him. Rebounding for him, yeah, offensive for Johnny. Athletic for Koulibaly. It's that, you know, that's where they see the most potential in him. Like, honestly, like, I think I'd rather focus on him being like a two-way. Honestly, like, I'd like to see his offense develop a little bit more. And then outside scoring for Avdia, yeah, I'd say that's where we want him. All right, what else do we need to do in terms of prepping for the season? I think this is where some of the coaching knowledge is going to come into play, right? Where we start to look at tendencies and where I want my guys to be on the court, right? And the shot tendencies, the first thing I'm looking at, bro, this ain't Toledo no more. You get no shots. No shots. No shots. Same with you. The same with Wisconsin anymore. Like, I know they're not even getting on the court, but I just don't care. Alrighty. So your shot tendency is going to be like a 97. You're taking like all of our shots. Kuzma is definitely the next one after that. So I'd say their touches are pretty accurate. I'd say you're like 99 touches. Like, you're the one with the ball most of the time. But who's taking the next like shot after that on this team? Like Tyus Jones? Like, that's the thing. Well, honestly, Avdia for off the bench. Like, probably him. Yeah, we're going to need some more scorers on this team, especially since I was talking about trying to outscore people. Yeah, we're going to increase his touches a little bit too. And yeah, that's where I think I want the touches, at least right now. We're going to put Tyus Jones up a little bit, like, and his touches are going to be higher, obviously, just because he's going to have the ball a lot. But yeah, and then looking at like the rest of these things, like, I'll skip through a lot of this, but my philosophy is I don't need people taking these like little close push shots or anything like that. I told you I'm an analytics guy, so we're setting it to around 15 because I think that's where it's like, okay, you got the shot, you take it, right? But I don't think that's the most efficient way to go about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go edit these tendencies, and then we'll cut back and see what I came up with. All right, we're back, and we're finished with the tendencies. Kind of like what I was saying, we're keeping the shot close. All of those pretty low, around the 15s. We don't really want guys taking the shots around like that 6-7 foot range. As far as the unders, I didn't touch those too much, but I did raise Gafford's quite a bit, right? Because that's where he's going to literally get all of his points. If it's not there, it's the free throw line. And because he probably won't make a ton, it's all going to come from right under the hoop. Mid-range, we did the exact same thing. There's nobody here that's good enough of a mid-range shooter to justify making that a common shot. And so the three-pointers is where it started to get a little interesting. By going through it, we're not as good of a three-point shooting team as I would have hoped. Really, it's Kispert. Like, I didn't even touch like Patrick Baldwin's, right? Like, if he wants to get in the game and chuck, that's cool. But like, even guys like Gallinari and stuff and like Muscala aren't like great. We have a lot of spot up potential, and so that's why this stat's a little bit higher. But a few off the screen and stuff, these are what they are. If you want to pause and look at them, you certainly can. And then like contested threes and stuff, like the only two people I trust to making that a part of their game even a little bit is Poole and Tyus. But like, we don't want any contested mid-range shots if we don't have to. Step backs are low, things like that, and the drive tendencies are what they are. We want people getting to the hoop. We don't want them settling for the mid-range shot, right? We want the ball swinging and moving and creating offense, because we don't have enough talent where we can just play hero ball, which I'm not a huge fan of anyway. But yeah, so that's what all that's looking like. And so I think we're at a spot now where we've got enough going on to where we can look to maybe play our first game in my first game of 2K24. So we'll see how that goes. What I'm thinking is that we'll kind of sim through the first maybe month and a half or something like that. And we'll find a game in here in the middle to play. but just kind of looking ahead to see if there's like an opponent that we want to start up against. I feel like another team that could be interesting is like Charlotte. They're in kind of a similar place, if you will. They got Brandon Miller coming off the bench. Interesting. Along with Mark Williams. Mark Williams is a guy I'd love to have on our team at some point. I like his game. I think he's a better Daniel Gafford, right? I've always been a big fan of those run, jump, and dunk bigs. That's just, I don't know, if I was that tall, that's what I would want to do the whole game, right? That seems like fun. But for reference, I'm 6'5". I can dunk, and it's a little bit harder now. I'm getting a little older, but we can do it still. And yeah, but looking ahead, we play Charlotte a couple times. Like, we probably want to do a home game, right? So how about we sim through these first couple weeks? Yep, L's. Beat the Celtics. Michael Porter Jr. for Jordan Poole. That's a hard no. That is a hard no. Michael, I don't swing the rock. Porter. I love his game, though, honestly. It's hilarious to watch, and he's really, really good at it. I wouldn't swing the rock if I could shoot like him either. Let's take a look at some of these like first couple games. Like, we got smoked by the Pacers. Halliburton gave us the business, that Team USA effect. Kuzma took 25 shots. Poole went 5 for 25. Holy shit. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Gafford went 2 for 3 with 9 rebounds. That's literally what I expect out of him. So our first game was a complete disaster. Tyus did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. We kept it close with the Grizzlies. Ja Morant's playing, and this Grizzlies got a good team. John Conchar. I'm very familiar with his game, but let's take a look at what happened here. This one was a little closer. Avdi off the bench. See, that's what I'm talking about. Even got 2 assists for me, 1 turnover, but got to the free throw line a ton. Poole, another not as efficient game. A lot of fouls. Gafford, 5 fouls. 14 points, 15 rebounds. I love that. But at the end of the day, losing. Don't love to see that. How did we beat the Celtics? And how did we beat the Celtics? Through heart. That's what we do. We have heart on this team. And Tyus Jones scored 31 points and missed 1 shot. Wow. He was still only +5. That's incredible. Poole actually was a little more efficient. The 3-point shot has not been good. Where's Poole's 3-point stat right now? Yeah. Okay. That's worrisome. Avdia, though. Again, I'm liking it off the bench so far. Gafford's doing what Gafford needs to do. Muscala, how's Muscala's 3-point shot? Yeah, that's what I want. And Kispert, how have you been? See, Kispert's doing things. That's a 12 points, 43% from 3. It's lovely. Koulibaly, 3 points. He's out there doing things. You know what? Getting rebounds as a young guy, that's such an easy way to contribute. Right off the bat, lets you know you're just hooping. You're just hooping. Looking here at this one, Trey gave us 30, right? Poole finally became Jordan Poole that game. 3-point shot was better, still not great. Avdia still off the bench looking great. Love that. Love what Gafford's doing too. No assists, no steals, just blocks, rebounds, and dunks. Love it. Like 6%. What's his field goal percentage right now? Or almost 60%. Love to see it. Kispert had a rough night there. The Heat, just in the finals, obviously last year. Jimmy gave us the business. So did Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, such an interesting story last year. You never would have convinced me that he was going to be that dude, but Heat culture, right? Kuzma showed up a little bit that game. That's nice. Koulibaly had a decent game too. Love to see it, Koulibaly. How many fouls? 0 fouls. Out there playing defense. 6 and 11 for Gafford. Like, we need a rebound counter for Gafford this year. He might lead the league. Sixers lost, honestly, closer than I thought it would be. We have no answer to guard like any of these guys. Wow. See, this is what happens when you don't have many elite scorers and Jordan Poole's not being efficient. I don't want to look at that box score anymore. And we just beat the Hornets. Held LaMelo to a pretty rough night considering his standards. Terry Rozier's a guy that needs to get traded to a new team. Brandon Miller, how's he been so far this year? Yeah, I'm a big Brandon Miller guy. I think his game's really interesting. I know he talks about Paul George all the time. He literally looks and plays just like Paul George. It's so interesting. Poole, Lord have mercy. Yikes. Okay. Well, we will have to watch that throughout the season to see where he's going. But for now, let's hop into a game and see what we got. We'll see you guys in the game. All right, game's starting. Like I said, first game of 2K24 is what it is, losing the jump. Gafford, it's not what we want to see. But, oh, you know what? I'm already going to mess with my camera. I messed with it a little bit, but we need to zoom in at least to there. But going up against Charlotte here, obviously keeping LaMelo from doing shit like that. Yeah, no, that's a no-go. Pushing the ball, things like that, and Kispert for 3. Oh, see, I'm goated at 2K already. I promise you it's my first game. But looking here, having Tyus as like an on-ball defender is something that I like, but I want Gafford always in the help here. A lot of high pick and rolls I feel like are valuable, even with the fade here. We set that on the wrong side. Slip it, kick, Poole, shot. that's where, oh Lord, that bar was a little bit different than what I'm used to. All right, let's try and get Jordan Poole in a situation he's a little more familiar with. Let's get some floppy action going. Or Kispert again. That's green. That's a great shot. I would love that shot as a coach. But 2K doesn't feel the same. I gotta get used to this new like shot meter and everything. Honestly, that's the hardest part about 2K every year is the shot meter. Ooh. Blew right by me. Again, we're gonna try a floppy action. Kispert's gonna have to be our leading scorer. He's just gonna have to be our leading scorer because he's the only one that's capable of making a shot. But that's why I like Kispert. Like, I think he brings enough to the table to warrant him starting. And Gafford already has like a shit ton of rebounds. You know what? Let's get Gafford involved. He's been doing a lot. Nope, Gafford, you see, you actually have to set the screen. See how Kuzma did it? We're gonna snake it. We find the open man. I don't understand. That's a good shot, 2K. And I thought that was a fine release. No, not as much. We're probably going to play this up until halftime and then let the game kind of figure itself out after that. All right, time to use some of Tyus's. All right, maybe I'm not very good at this game. Maybe I'm not, and that's okay. But we'll get better. Much as the team's going to get better, we're going to get better as well. I see Tyus. I see Gafford. And we're out of bounds again. But we don't need to touch on that here. They keep setting the screens on like the wrong side. Got a size mismatch. Things like this we're going to exploit with the vet. There we go. Hair's flopping all over the place. I'm glad 2K's working on the important things. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. All right. It's going to be one of them things. We can't shoot throws. That's cool. All right, we can shoot a little bit of throws. Gafford's tired. All right. Jordan Poole is in the game in these late shot clock situations. Let's get you ISO'd with Cody Martin on you. I told you we don't play hero ball, but we're going at the 7-second mark. Blow by. There we go. Alrighty. And just like that, Jordan Poole's on the board, and Wizards fans don't hate us. Like, I'm not gonna lie, looking at early statistics and everything, I'm getting Lance Stevenson like vibes. Like, y'all remember when Lance was cooking for the Pacers, and then he got moved to Charlotte, and they're like, oh yeah, that's that guy or whatever. He can do a little bit of everything. Obviously, Jordan Poole doesn't have that going for him, but just looking at early inefficiencies and everything, you know, they gave Lance the green light to do whatever. But here, I don't know. And this is where Yeah, Abdia getting a little bit of ball handling responsibilities is great. Let's see if we get help here. And we find him. See, like, what happened there? Oh, we're ass. We're absolutely ass. We're not very good. We're not good, and that's okay. Age-old story. Can we make free throws? Green zone. See that? Green zone. Oh, butter. Absolute butter. And then snatch back. Good pass. Jump. Oh, yeah. I think that's like newer in 2K, right? Like they kind of give you a little more green space if you get them to jump, right? So it's a little more realistic, which is awesome. Guys like Mark Williams are going to jump at everything because they're that athletic, right? And so you always tell your guys, right, like just get them with the pump fake, especially when they're younger. But we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. We're learning right now. We're learning what we got. It's a new team, new organization. Basically, this first year is a trial year. It's who gets to stay and... Oh. Okay. Yeah, this year is about figuring out who can stay, who needs to go. Maybe it's everybody. Maybe it's everybody needs to go. But, you know, coaches aren't safe, staff aren't safe. We're seeing who we want long term, right? This is a trial year. It's the first year of rebuilding. We're going to try to be as competitive as possible. We'll make moves not to necessarily win this year, but to be competitive long term. But get him in the post. Okay, we're not good at that, and that's why we set the tendencies the way we did. We're off. Nobody's running. Drag, pick and roll. Throw it up. Okay, that is a situation where you'd throw that up. But I don't want Miles Bridges involved in guarding this pick and roll anymore. Yes, I do. I do want him involved. I lied. I was wrong. I lied. He's rusty. Let's let Kuzma run it. There's a big in his way. Snatch. Kick. Kispert, where? Why did you think that was okay? Use the big to swing, and then come set it. Dropped. Yeah, you can't, like, we don't want many mid-range, but if they're going to drop like that, then fair enough, right? In basketball, at the end of the day, you take shots that are given to you. Butthurt about it. There we go. See, now we're flowing a little bit. We made a shot, made another shot. It's easy being green. Okay. Tyus Jones is really tired. Drive and kick. All right, space. We can take Terry Rozier. I said I don't want to play hero ball, but we're going to play some hero ball. God. We suck. We're not good at basketball. Pool's not safe. Nobody's safe. Whole team might be traded. They might be packing their bags right after this. I'm not going to lie. They might have to find a new home. They might have to. Some owners cry when they have to trade their players. I'll cheer when they're gone. That's not true. Oh, gotta go. Slip. Gafford. Gafford's safe. Gafford's the only one we love. Great contest, Tyus. All right, that's the half. We're going to sim to the end and see where we're at. And gave up 143 points. I feel like that just kind of happens with the 2K sims, but 35, 17 3-pointers. 2K. Minus 16. 39 and 37. Okay. All right, we're going to forget that happened. Wrapping this up, I say we're going to sim another. We're going to sim to the 10th. And I'm not going to look at... I don't want Tobias Harris. A solid player, very solid player. But not someone we're interested in at the moment. Oh, they want Gafford. No, I told you Gafford's untouchable. 4-14, 4-15. Losing games. Wish we had our pick. Ooh. So this is where we start. Start the scouting, huh? I don't think people have like actual 2K draft classes in yet. That's something that we can mess with later in the series or whatever. But for now, we're scouting the best players and going at it from there. Hopefully people have actual draft classes to implement later. Oh, well, excuse me. Two-way guys. Assign. You can go down there too, honestly. Johnny Davis is a guy that might go down in a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with that. All right, simulate through this date. Oh, the Grizzlies really want Kyle Kuzma. That doesn't really make much sense. Marcus Smart's the kind of guy I'd love to have on this team, but that's not something we're interested in the moment. Okay. Time for me to do my analytics thing. What do we got? Jordan Poole, 23 points a game. Love to see it. Hate to see the numbers he's doing to get there. 90% from the free throw line. Let's take a look at our charts. We're making it at the rim well, and notice how we're not taking a lot of those like mid-range and close shots. That's where I want to see it, but we're just not making threes. That's not good because I need him to make threes. To be good at basketball, I need him to make threes. Kuzma giving us 17. He's not shooting well either. Oh no. Ooh. We're getting to the rim well. Wow, horrendous, honestly. How many threes are we taking a game for both of them? That number's going to have to decrease. This number's probably got to decrease a little bit too. So maybe we'll look at settings for that. Avdia. Same thing. Oh my goodness. Anybody shooting through up? Corey Kispert. Kispert's safe. And Gafford's safe. 10 and 10. 2.5 blocks. 62%. You know what? We're doing it right now. Untouchable. Don't even call me about Daniel Gafford. Kispert? Maybe. Maybe. But we like what Kispert's doing right now. Just looking at Tyus, like 14. See, I don't like that number. I've kind of figured, but you know what? Nobody's making shots either, so that might be part of it. Maybe if he had people that made shots, maybe it would go a little bit better. Otherwise, like, is anybody else shooting the ball well? Gallo's shooting it well on like 3 attempts a game. We gotta get Kispert's like touches up, honestly. We might do that. Why is he, and he's upset. Is anybody else upset? Okay. Why? I feel upset. Okay. But, okay. We're bad at basketball. We're not good. We're dead last right now, and we have no draft pick. So things aren't looking good, but you know what? That's how it is. And I think that's what we're going to call it for this first one. So make sure you guys are tuning in for more. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and shoot me a follow, turn on the bell, right? Do all those fun things and just stay tuned. This is my first time doing YouTube and everything, and I want it to be an interactive experience. I want to get to know the community a little bit, and I want to provide basketball knowledge. I'm also on Twitch. I'm going to be playing some other video games with some of my friends. I'll be on YouTube live doing other NBA 2K stuff and talking other basketball things. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, you guys, and we'll see you next time.